So with that, you have to take the class and have to possess that handgun qualification license before you can rent, receive, purchase a handgun. Now when I talk about rent here, the state thinks like, I'm going to give you a handgun, you're going to go to your dad's farm and shoot it, and then you're going to return that handgun to me. No one really does that in Maryland. So if you go down to Cindy's and you say, hey, I don't have an HQL, but I'd like to shoot on the range. Do you need one? No, you don't need one. But if you go into Cindy's and say, I would like to purchase that Glock 19, then you're going to need a license. So who's eligible? Well, you have to be 21 years older because the ability to buy a restricted firearm, like a handgun, is 21 years of age. You need to be a Maryland state resident. I don't know why anyone from another state would want to try to purchase a handgun in Maryland, because it's a hard process, but you have to be in Maryland to purchase in Maryland. Not prohibited from possessing a handgun. We'll talk a little bit more about where people fall into that, what makes someone a prohibited person. Essentially, if you're a prohibited person, you can't purchase. And cannot possess a medical marijuana card. This one's kind of new. The idea is you have to make a decision in your life. I'm all about freedom, so if you need to use that for your health, by all means, freedom. In the state of Maryland, though, they're going to say you can have one or the other. You can't have both. If you'd like a firearm, you're going to have to surrender a medical marijuana card. If you have an HQL permit and you apply for a medical marijuana card, you're going to have to surrender your ability to purchase firearms in Maryland. We'll talk about 77R in just a few minutes. So let's talk about purchasing a non-regulated firearm. So what is a non-regulated firearm? We're talking about like a shotgun, a bolt-action rifle, a semi-automatic rifle, not a handgun. So purchasing a non-regulated firearm means that you're going to complete the ATF Form 4473. That is right there. Thanks, sir. This is the federal background check that occurs for every purchase of a firearm from a regulated firearms dealer. So the idea is you'll fill this out. This is the NICS instant background check. So, and when the government says instant, they kind of mean anywhere from 15 seconds to 45 minutes. So it may not pop immediately. Now, this is, I can we term this cash and carry in Maryland. I can walk in, I can buy a shotgun, I can fill this out. If the federal government says I am not denied, I can walk home with that shotgun that day. But that is a federal background check. Look at our own situation, evaluate what we're trying to protect it against, and make those determinations. So take for, say I'm trying to protect my firearms against theft from a determined criminal. All right, I'm probably going to put them in a big safe like this. How long does it take to break into a big safe like that? It depends on the quality of it, but your average $1,000 gun safe, if you give me an angle grinder and 45 minutes, I'm going to have possession of your firearms. So how do I add another layer to that? Well, I have a home alarm system. So that alarm system, is that going to protect that quick gun that they can grab and get out of the house? No, it's not. But that alarm system is not designed to necessarily protect that. Is that going to probably, protect that safe from a determined attacker, the time to get into it? Yes, it is. So think of layers of safety. And when I also talk about layers of safety, that might mean a cable lock in your gun and you store it locked up in a safe. You've added another layer of safety so that the happenstance if someone does get access to the inside of that safe, that gun is still secured. Now, I've got a couple of preferences, and ultimately you have to make the decision that's right for you and understand the threat. So take a lockbox like this. You could load the firearm, you could quick access that, and use it to defend yourself. It's a compromise. Even if that's bolted to the studs in your wall or on the floor, if I have a crowbar, if I'm a determined attacker, how long do you think it takes me to get that box and run with it? Maybe 5 minutes. So are you really protecting that against theft? No, you're probably securing that against other people in the house and the peace of mind of having a loaded firearm in a locked place. Now, is this a good place for a loaded firearm for me for quick access? No, that's not the right solution to secure that firearm. Are these bore locks Great. Again, I'm not a big trigger lock guy or a bore lock guy. I'd rather use a cable lock. A cable lock kind of renders the firearm incapable of firing. A determined attacker can take maybe 3 minutes and break that trigger lock off. They have an operational gun. They can probably take a minute with a cable cutters. So understand that, I think it was Bruce Lee that says, be like water. You know, understand that there is no perfect security. There will be a point where that security is breached. You have to have a good understanding of what you're trying to protect, what layers are needed, and decide that maybe my shotgun doesn't have the lock in a safe because I might need that. But if I've got children, I've got to find a solution for that.